What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to my Zero to Hero series where I'm playing on my free-to-play account using pretty much only SR and R characters with the exception of Lian and Lingluo because they're free. Now my account is level 44 and you can see that I am comfortably farming pretty much hell 2 of every single threshold. I have all the, or I guess not all, but 2 of the main shell farming areas, Nico, Nana, and Sharon on farm as well on the hardest difficulty, and I'm kind of just waiting for Shadow Flame Hoyan to unlock at 45 so I can actually start farming those very good revelations from the boss that will pretty much just carry me through a lot of the PvE content later on. For now, just farming Hell 2s. I'm going to show you guys the team compositions I'm running for each one, and you guys can see also my stats, pretty much just progressing through the game pretty casually. So if you guys are struggling, you guys can use my team comps because they're very free to play. You can swap some characters out for the SSRs that you have and pretty much just follow the speed requirements and stuff like that. Now, before I actually show you though, the most important thing when you're getting into threshold farming, especially in like Hell, is you want to make sure your shells are pretty much maxed out. You can see I spent a good deal of my level 35 to 45 just farming shells. I have 2 artisans. I definitely recommend farming 2 of these. I have a White Fang. I definitely want one of these maxed as well. The other 2, it's really up to you. I like to have a Gigabyte, so I have 1 Gigabyte maxed out, and I have a Supernova for my healer. This is going to be very good and come in handy for Aurora because there's a heal absorb shield. Now, of course, once I do it 45, I will be farming some other shells from Shadow Flame Hoyan, most notably probably like 1 Jackal Guard and 1 Revelation. But if you're at my level or around my level, or even if you're not, even if you're higher up, as long as you have 5 of these shells maxed out, because thresholds will have basically 5 characters, you should be good to go. You can use something like a black flag if you want, but just keep in mind the red shells just give you more stats and the effects are way more powerful. So you definitely want to try to ditch these yellow shells and try to get to those mythic red shells ASAP. So starting off, I'm going to show you guys my Aurora team that I use here. I think my gear is saved so I don't have to move any gear around. In the case that I do, I'll just pause it and I'll just load it in for you guys. But this is the team that I use. I have Catchy here. You want your S3 maxed out. He is on Swift Rush and on Artisan. You really want basically 2 Artisans for every single threshold in my opinion, especially if you're newer to the game. Just make sure you're running 2 Artisans. It doesn't really matter which characters. My Rin is my main damage dealer. S3 is maxed out. She's on my White Fang on Onslaught. You can see my Chiak the Echo. Even though she's green, she will work up to like Hell 3, Hell 4. So for now, since we're only doing Hell 2 farming, this is what I use. And she's also on Artisan to make her tankier and to give other people shields. I'm a Lingluo. She has her S1 maxed out. You probably don't have the luxury to do this early on, but you will eventually want to do this anyways because this increased duration of her Whale Prayer is very important. She is on Swift Rush and she is on Supernova, which will increase her healing. If you guys don't have the S1 maxed out, it's still fine. You only really need it for Inferno, but it does really make the runs a lot easier. Then I have Viper here. Viper has very low investment. He doesn't even have his S3 maxed out. I will have to do this eventually for PvE, but he's on a high effect accuracy build. Same with Catchy, of course, because I need his S3 to crit. And he is here to strip the immunity and apply attack and slow down, speed down on the boss. Pretty standard comp. You really need, I'd say like the 2 characters you really need in this comp to farm Aurora. It's going to be Lingluo and Viper. They're pretty much required for this boss, I'd say. Just because, 1, this boss requires a ton of healing, and 2, Viper really needs to strip this immunity and apply attack down and ideally speed down, which she didn't land. It's very important to make sure you don't take a lot of damage. Other 3 characters, really up to you. 1 turn meter pusher, Chiak the Echo works early game. If you have Lily, you can use her. There's a lot of good options. And then for, I think Red Kazuya is also pretty good. And then for your damage dealer, you want to bring like Rin, Dieting, even Lian's okay in the early game, whatever you have. Giada, Rosa, and stuff like that. And then for your 5th slot, instead of Catchy, Catchy's already very good. You can bring him. But otherwise, you can bring another healer if you're struggling, like Red Chiak. He's very good as well in this area of content. So you can see it's a pretty simple run. I'm just hitting the boss, and my Lingluo and my Artisan shells are pretty much just keeping my team alive. And even though Aurora is one of those thresholds that does take a while, It is very good to farm because you get Fury Matrix pieces, which are very good for your DPS characters. And you also get Momentum, which you will want later on for PvE content. And you can see, because my Viper's not landing his debuffs, it does get pretty scary, but you can see the Artisan shells at work here. Look at those fat shields on my squishier characters. And this will stall enough time for Ling Lo to actually get her heal off, and wow, I am topped off. That's why she's so good here. And that's also why the shell she's on, Supernova, is very good on her. If you're struggling with a lot of damage and you have her, slap her on Supernova. This makes you heal a lot more, especially once you get it to level 40 and max it out, and you actually awaken it again to get those, I don't know what it is, but the stars get darker in color, which indicates it's completely maxed, and you will see that you take way less damage. So it's very good. And you can see Rin is just doing not even that much damage, to be honest. Dieting will do a lot more. Giada and Rosa will do a lot more as well. But I am using Rin because I do plan to use her in DokiDoki as well. And you will see that I use her there as well. But of course, you know, Giada and Rosa are just direct, better options than her. But because I'm only using SR characters, this is what we're working with. And you're going to see that it's still easily doable. So if you're struggling with Aurora, just bring healers and bring Viper, and you will be good to go. And the boss will eventually die here. And you will see that my Rin should finish it off. Yes, and that is going to be Aurora 2. Not Aurora 2. Aurora on Hell 2. That's how I farm it with my team. I will get into Hell 3 and Hell 4 eventually, pretty quickly. Now I'll show you guys my DokiDoki Hell 2, Hell 3 team. I can farm Hell 3, but the win rate's like 40% right now, so right now I'm farming Hell 2. The biggest reason why I'm not able to farm this on Hell 3 yet is mostly going to be because I need to actually upgrade my Rin's S1 so I get more damage in S2. And also I just need to level up my characters and probably make my Ling Lo faster. I think my speed's a bit low. But this is the team I use. My Gray is on 1 crit rate piece and then 2 effect accuracy. That way he can land his S3 defense down more consistently. You'll see my Casio is pretty much on my Viper gear. She is on Swift Rush, and she's on 3 effect accuracy pieces on Gigabyte. Anything that helps her cycle turns faster is good. Also, I forgot to mention my Gray is on Artisan. Artisan is actually very good on Gray, especially if you use him as a defense down support instead of a main damage dealer. Because of this extra turn on his S2, it will reduce the cooldown of Artisan to basically like a 2-turn shell. Super good on him if you don't need the damage. Jack the Echo, also an Artisan. Like I mentioned before, you want 2 Artisans. She's on Swift Rush as well, just like Bulk. And then my Ling Lo is on pretty much the same build. You know, Swift Rush, Supernova on Bulk as well. And then my Rin is also on the same build that I showed you earlier. And she is max crit rate when I do have Gray on my team. The biggest reason, honestly, why I can't do this on Hell 3 and Hell 4 consistently yet is because I'm using White Fang. This shell is really bad in DokiDoki because there's so many mobs. So because of that, once I switch to Revelation, honestly, I will probably be able to do Hell 4 very easily, I'd say. So this is the team comp. Basically, you want to bring a sustained character, Ling Lo, Florian's very good. You want to bring a turn meter pusher, Chiak the Echo is very good. Lily's very good, obviously. If you have Casio the Reverie, which you should, you have to bring her, I'd say, for this. 100%, she's just so broken here. And then your defense down can be Gray, like I'm using. Or if you have her, Kloss is very good. Or if you pulled for the new character, the guy, I think his name's Nahor, he's also very good as well here. And then your damage dealer, Blue Rin is pretty bad, I'd say. There's a lot of better characters. There's like Rosa, Giada. Giada's probably the best. You can use Messiah or Yelly, the LD SSRs if you have them. Or you can even use something like a Romoka if you're one-shotting the first wave. She's very good in Hell. A little bit harder to use in Inferno, but after the nerfs, it's pretty easy. So usually here, when I'm continuous battling, I focus the middle one. And that's because I don't really want to get one-shot. I do this also... I used to do this when I was doing Doki Inferno with my Messiah. even though now I one-shot it now on my main. And you can see the damage here is pretty crazy, right? So there's a reason why I want to kill this guy ASAP. The other ads apply like AoE defense down, which is very annoying, but they don't do that much damage. Defense down is really annoying because the big guy hits you and one-shots you. So you can kind of see why Linglo is very good here. She's healing my team. And you can see the artisans are cycling very fast on Gray, which is why I really like it, especially early on when you're progressing. Because usually what happens in DokiDoki is you're just dying, right? It's not really, you can't kill them, you're just dying to this big guy. And Gray on Artisan is a really good, I wouldn't say cheese, but strategy, because you can actually really buff your team's survivability with it. On top of, you know, the healing that we're getting from Linglo. And the big guy does die. Now the fight is pretty much free as long as we're not too low. And you can see we're very healthy because of Linglo. And as I say that, I almost die. But even if one character dies, as long as your Kazuya the Reverie's alive, honestly, you can still win. She can solo 1v1 these ads. But if she's dead, no one can break the shield on them. They have a shield that needs to be broken, basically. Here, I'll show you. This thing here, the shell. It reduces damage taken unless you're crowd controlling them. That is why Kazuya the Rev is so good here. And she also has an attack down, which is very important. And that is my DokiDoki Hell 2 auto team. And now, last but not least, we have my Terror team. I'll show you guys what I'm using. Actually, I'm not using him. I'm using Chiaki. So Leanne is my main DPS. You can swap her out for Diting as well. So Diting can be used in Aurora and also Terrormaton. Very, very good. I have, yeah, this is the build I have her on. It's pretty much the same build as my Rin. I just moved the gear over. I have Kachi the Guard, once again, pretty much on the same build from the Aurora run. You just want to make sure he's at 182% effect accuracy. He's on Swift Rush with Gigabyte. You can see my Chiaki the Echo on the same exact build from my DokiDoki run. And then same with Gray, same exact build as well. You know, Chiaki just needs to be fast on Swift Rush with Artisan to buff my team's shielding. She does have her S3 maxed out. I don't think I mentioned that. And then I have my Gray here with his S3 and S2 maxed out on Artisan for the extra shielding because the damage here is crazy. Now you could probably use Linglo here until like Hell 3. But I'm using Red Chiaki because this is what I'll use into Inferno. And she's like one of the best healers for this boss, unironically. And if you have like Red Mia, you can use Mia instead of Chiaki, but because I don't have her, I'll use Chiaki here. She has no investment, but eventually I will want to max out her S1 and S3, but for now it works. And because I do actually have problems surviving, and this is what I'll recommend if you're progressing into these, especially the lower like Hell 1, Hell 2, Hell 3, even Hell 4 to an extent, you're going to want to kill this left arm first. Once you get to Inferno though, it's a better strategy to, skip the arms entirely, because you do need to kill the boss pretty fast. But in Hell 2, Hell 3, Hell 4, if you do have a good sustainer like Red Chiaki, catch the guard's defense buff, and something like, 2 Artisans, killing this left arm is a good strategy because it stops you from randomly getting defense down and from randomly just getting one shot. And if one character dies on this boss, you pretty much just lose because the main boss, the main body, will instantly take a turn and hit you with an AoE attack. So that's a huge reason why I like to bring Kachi the Guard. He gives my entire team a defense buff, so this doesn't do as much damage. And it kind of gives me enough time to kill this arm. And then after, of course, you kill the main body. Of course, if you're continuous battling, you don't have to manually target whatever you want to hit. There's an option at the top right. If you click the gear, you can choose the order that you want your team to kill stuff. And like I said earlier, Gray on Artisan is very good for keeping your team alive. It actually makes him like a very good sustainer, funnily enough, because he's just permanently shielding your team. And then here we get the Supernova S3, and my team is topped off. So this is like the point where Leanne kind of starts falling off. She doesn't feel as strong as in the earlier difficulties for Terror, but she's still okay. I think you can actually use her into Hell 4. I think people say that she stops losing value at like Hell like 1 and 2, but I don't think she's that bad. I think she's actually pretty underrated. In Inferno, she's definitely not going to be usable, but up until that point, I think she's going to be pretty much my main DPS. You can see, like, literally my team is pretty much unkillable, right? And this is all going to be because I do have my shells leveled, right? My modules, they aren't even that great, just focused on main stat. But basically, as long as your shells are leveled and you have, you know, those right side modules with good main stats on your characters, and you have your matrices activated, you are pretty much going to be able to farm up to Hell 4, you know, given that your characters are leveled and you have your skills upgraded and your prowesses nodes activated as well. Doesn't mean, you know, just randomly upgrade your skills. You kind of have to know what you want to upgrade on your characters. You don't waste lattices. But for the most part, as long as you are just playing through the game, just thinking about your team composition, you can see, for now it's only Hell 2, but at level 44, I think that's not too shabby for my account, considering I'm not really using like Lily or even any SSRs really outside of Lian and Linglo. But yeah, that is pretty much it for, you know, how my account has come along. You can see I'm about to hit level 45 as well. That is when I unlock, what's it called here? Shadow Flame Hoyan. And then this Revelation shell is going to boost my damage by so much on bosses. This shell is so strong, just because it does percent max health. So my Rin will be able to do Hell 4 DokiDoki, I think almost instantaneously after I get this. Same with Aurora. And, you know, Terrormaton probably is a little harder until I level up my Lian a bit, but should still be doable. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video though, guys. Hopefully this guide helped you guys out. Basically, you know, you want to make sure you just have your max shells on your characters. You know, the passives, you don't have to roll too crazily for them, but, you know, have some that make sense. Usually for the support ones, just having Shadow Dash on the second one is good enough. And for your DPS ones, just having purple and yellow damage ones are good enough. You know, red is obviously better, but purple and yellow is fine. Also, you just want to make sure that your characters here are actually on the right matrix for your modules. You know, like Onslaught for your DPS for the early game, Swift Rush on your supports are very good, and you want these right side modules to have the main stat that you want. So, you know, anything that needs effect accuracy, just run, you know, triple effect accuracy. Gray, you know, has 2 with 1 crit chance because he needs to crit to actually land his debuff. And then, you know, your supports, your turn boosters. Oh, yeah, don't run them on crit rate, run them on HP. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully this helps you guys out, and I'll see you guys next video.